Good afternoon, Ohio. It is James Ernest of the Grueling Truth Radio Network, along with Mark Fightmaster of UC Bearcats on the Prowl, and we're going to discuss some UC football and some UC basketball. Mark, what have the Bearcats been up to in football?
Well, football, we know that they've signed on to play in the Birmingham Bowl against Boston College. So now we're just kind of in a holding pattern until that game. It's been a good. It was a decent season. I think we talked last time a little bit about the disappointment of facing a Boston College, which I think we're better than. But now it's time for Luke Fickell and the boys to go prove that.
Exactly, and that's one of those things they need to do to really, put the emphasis on that they do deserve better. Because unfortunately, you lose 2 in a row. I know basically it's really only losing 1 because it's the same game twice. I mean, it's I don't get. I mean, fortunately, I don't think that dropped them too bad in the polls. All things considered. I mean, if you keep playing the same game, you're going to keep getting the same results. I mean, so. It did improve a little bit, but nothing too bad. The Boston, I agree. I mean, it's just with them barely making bowl eligibility, it's hard to get all excited about playing that type of team.
We can sit here and complain about who they're playing. Bottom line is, it's who was chosen. We're upset about it. They win one of the games against Memphis, we don't have to worry about it.
Exactly.
So now it's one of two things can happen. The team can tuck their tails and say, "Oh, we got screwed, and we shouldn't be playing against this team," and have a tough game against them, or they can say, "You know what? We're pissed off about this," and go out there and demolish them. And I would love to see that happen. I know that. I say I know, but I imagine that is what Coach Fickell's mindset is going into the game.
I agree with you.
We need to show that we deserve better than this.
Exactly.
But let's see if the kids will do that.
Exactly, because if we go out there and we end up, staying close, like some of the last couple games of the season, if it ends up being like the Temple game or the UC or USF game, then it's going to feel like people nationally are going to go, yeah, maybe that's all UC deserved. But if we go out there and, they do like UConn and, that kind of thing, or let's see, trying to think of one of the games that, the Miami of Ohio game and different things like that, where we really show what we can do with a Marshall game, then people will take notice. And with it being the day after New Year's Day, it isn't the big game that we want, but on the bright side, we'll have a lot of people home watching football that day. You can, like I said, one of two choices of things they can do. And, I know what Luke Fickell's going to do. It's what the kids do, and I think he'll get them ready. I think, he's going to prepare them and give them everything they need. But, it's a bunch of kids, so. And then, of course, the big thing that's really going on in football is tomorrow, I believe, is signing day.
National Letter of Intent Day, and Evan Prater, I believe is his name, from Wyoming, is going to sign his National Letter of Intent to UC. That's Mr. Ohio Football. That's a big get for the Bearcats. He's a bona fide stud. Obviously you don't win Mr. Ohio Football without being very good. He's a quarterback from Wyoming High School here in town. So that's the big one. There's going to be other signings, but everybody's focused on Evan.
Exactly. So, building on what we have with the really great sophomore and junior class, things like that are going to help to go a long way and really take them to the next level. Because unfortunately, every time I read about UC, it feels like you start hearing people talk about, well, Will Fickell will be here, that kind of thing. Always comes up.
Well, and they can talk about that one. It was funny last time we talked last week. One of the names teams, one of the teams that he was rumored to go to was going to be Boston College. Yeah. Fortunately, that position has been taken by Jeff Hafley, Ohio State's co-defensive coordinator, so we don't have to worry about that one. But there's going to be any number of spots that he could end up. But I really think, having read some of the things he said, he likes it here.
He does.
And I hopefully he'll stick it out.
I agree with you. I think there's a good possibility that he'll be in it for the long haul. I mean, he does say, he's been saying the right things about how there is a bright future here and how, he can raise his family here.
Well, yeah, and honestly, he landed Mr. Ohio football. Yeah. If he can keep landing big-time recruits like that, then, he's building this team into something that he wants. Quite honestly, why leave? He's an Ohio boy. He likes it in the state. This isn't far from Columbus. It's a good place to raise your kids, If I remember right, his kids are going to be going to Moeller, I believe. He's in a good spot. So, and with Evan Prater, he is a quarterback. We talked about Desmond Ritter. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with him. If they keep him at quarterback or if he is a really good athlete.
Exactly.
And he could play anywhere.
Yeah, so you're going to want to get him on the field. So I'm thinking that, while you do have Ritter here, you might, have him do something else until this position of quarterback opens up.
Right, and I'm going to be honest with you. I have talked with some. I used to coach high school here in town for a long time, and I was in Wyoming's league. And I have talked to some coaches that I know, and they said his greater success may be elsewhere other than quarterback, just because at times he may have issues reading coverages, and with some of the competition they play, he's not used to what Wyoming plays against some Division 3, 4, 5 teams, but if they can get that kid, rocking and rolling out at receiver or at a slot position or even a running back style position, who knows? The sky's the limit for him, and I think the kid's going to do really well.
In Ohio, is it the lower the number or the higher the number, the better?
The higher the better, and they say better. It's just bigger, but I think I just saw something like they rated the 5 most difficult high school leagues in the state or in the country, and like Division 1 in Ohio was like the 3rd hardest to win. And so Wyoming, and really, I'm not saying they have a bad program. It's just that it's based on size, the size of the school. So, Wyoming plays against, I'm trying to remember the old league that I coached in. It was Finneytown, Deer Park, Taylor, which is where I coached, Madeira, Marymount, and there's one other that I'm probably missing. But, so it's all schools that have less boys to pull from for the football team, and that's how they rank the divisions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so, I wonder how they do that, because I know over here, same thing, the more A's you have, the bigger the school, so usually, now don't get me wrong, Beechwood has, always been good, and they're always, they're usually a 1 or a 2, and, the Highlands and the Riles are more of a 4 or 5 or a Cov Calf, so,
so when I say he's playing competition that may not be as good, it's only because they don't have as many boys to draw from, as like an Elder or a LaSalle or one of them.
Moeller
so
and St. X and stuff like that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like Princeton. Yeah. So, but the kid's a stud. He was Mr. Ohio football. Yeah. So it's a great kid. They don't just
hand that out. Yeah.
No, God, no. Matter of fact, he's like the first Cincinnati kid to win it since 1990, somewhere in there.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's been a while. So, and obviously, I wish him nothing but luck with the Bearcats. I think he's got a chance to be one to be a name that goes down in UC history.
So going from a team that is 10-3, let's talk about 6-4.
Boy, do we have to.
Unfortunately. So I get there about the 5-minute mark, and unfortunately, this is starting to become a trend. I think they might banish me from coming to the game late because I've been bad luck. Because against, let's see, who else did this happen? Well, that I was at the UNLV game. So I show up at the end of the ULV game, and we end up going to overtime. Let's see, I show up at the Vermont game, and they make it a close game. And, of course, I show up at the Colgate game, and we're winning. And the next thing you know, we're not winning so much.
Dude, ultimately, it comes down to this team can't finish.
Yep.
I mean, they can't finish. We were up, 10 points against UNLV with a minute to go, and ended up in overtime.
And keeps talking about it being on the players being on an island unto themselves. In other words, they're not working as a team. It seems like.
Well, okay, so whose job is it to get them to work as a team?
That's true.
I mean, I like Coach Brandon. I think he's going to be good. And he is working on getting his players here. Ultimately, we are working with Mick Cronin's players, trying to learn Coach Brandon's scheme. And that can be part of the problem. But then, I mean, okay, so you were there. What the hell was Cumberland doing?
Oh, he had no idea. Boldface had just no idea where he was, what was going on. Yeah, no idea. He was under the belief that UC was still up. I'm assuming because how he dribbled the ball out like that. Yeah, I mean he must have not known it was tied because he just took it up like it was nothing. And then out of nowhere he shoots it, and then there's a foul, which the foul was a joke. It was a charge more than it was a foul. Because the other team ran right into the UC guy.
Yeah, I mean, it was
a pretty good acting job. It was impressive that Utah Jazz are going to draft that player just based upon how he flopped.
That was as brutal a 10-second, 5-second span of basketball I've seen since Miles Simon threw in a 3/4 court basket against the Bearcats in the 90s, in the tournament. I mean, it is words, very rarely do words escape me. But when I watched that, I was dumbfounded. And I'm going to be honest, I wasn't watching it live. We had a birthday party at the house for one of the kids. But my brother texted me and said, "Did you just see that?" And I said, no. And so I made sure to get over to get on my phone and find it. And I have never in my life seen anything I've just never seen anything like that, James. I'm a 46-year-old man. I've lived through Cincinnati sports as long as I can remember.
And
I watched Kenyon Martin break his leg. I watched the Bengals lose the Super Bowl on a dropped interception. I have seen it all. The Nevada game, Tippins didn't count. I have never seen anything like that.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, after the game, they asked the couple representatives, I want to say Void and maybe Keith, they asked, or maybe it was Trey, but either way, they asked them, what did Cumberland say? Yeah, they're like, we haven't talked to him yet. And it was after the game. It was probably a good 10, 15 minutes after the game where, Coach was in the locker room. And same thing, Coach said he hadn't talked to him yet. Both of them said, I'm like, it was kind of weird because it's like, how was that not the first thing out of your mouth when you got to the locker room going, what happened?
Yeah, and ultimately, again, as we said with the football, this is a game being played by kids. Yeah. So whose job is it to make sure he knows how much time is left and that they're losing, that they're winning? You can put this on Coach Brandon.
Yeah.
You can put it on any of the assistant coaches. You can put it on the rest of the team. But dude, Cumberland, you are a good basketball player.
Yeah, I was gonna say the real problem is, Jared, we're thinking you're going to the NBA or before this season starts. He kind of has that vibe. He has that feel that people, when he won the preseason conference player, that people are going to start. They're going to be scouting him. They're going to be looking at him. They're going to be over-analyzing every little thing he does. And if they're over-analyzing every little thing you do, you definitely don't want to screw up things like that.
No, and I mean, it's a game. Yeah. We lost the game, but this is one of those ones, man. When it comes down to tournament time, if we're on the bubble,
getting out, and this is an out game. Yeah,
you lose to Colgate.
Yeah, at home.
Yeah, and I mean, and I will say, Colgate, I believe, played in the NCAA tournament last year.
Actually,
and they returned 4 starters from that team, so they were a good team.
Yeah, they're not.
It wouldn't have been a quality win. It would have been a good win. Yeah. But man, it's a horrible loss.
It is a horrible. And it was their power forward. He's a beast, number 25.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I can't pronounce that. Can't pronounce it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was gonna say when Coach Brennan's like, he basically is Drew McDonald, but better. So I'm like, that's pretty high praise because he coached, I think, has a man crush on Drew McDonald. So yeah, so for him to go, he's like Drew, but better. And I'm like,
I mean, make no mistake, it was a decent team.
Yeah. Actually, it's funny because they were the ones who played up at Columbus with us, with UC. They played, and the irony is they played Tennessee and lost to Tennessee in the first round. Of course, we're playing Tennessee next.
Yeah, well, let's hope we get things together. That's tomorrow night, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah, and they're number 21 in the country.
Wow. Yeah. Well, it's a chance to redeem ourselves, I guess. But man, there's a lot of redemption needed.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, it just is. It's been rough so far this season.
We came into it with high hopes. Yeah. Maybe as UC fans we expected too much. Maybe we've gotten spoiled over time. Brandon coming in, he's got a plan. And we got to let him work it out. We're going to have a rough season. Maybe a couple, but.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's one of those ones you go, okay, well, we brought our guys back. We brought in the new coach that has been making the tournament. So both UC's been in the tournament. Coach Brandon's been in the tournament. You put tournament and tournament together, all that equals tournament.
Yeah, well, and I mean, maybe we expect it to be tough, maybe, or we didn't expect it to be great, but good God, we don't expect Jaron Cumberland to throw a ball to the basket with 5 seconds left from half court when we're tied.
Exactly.
That's not smart basketball.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, and that's the part, that, I mean, even if you are going to have to chuck a bad shot, you wait till it's, to the last second. You don't want to give time for what happened to happen. I mean...
Yeah, and there's the last thing I want to say about it, but there's some people have said he didn't. You said he thought he was winning.
Yeah.
And so he just threw the ball, but 5 seconds, you got to throw the ball really damn high.
Yeah.
For it to come down not to somebody on the other team.
Yeah, I'm thinking. My true belief is he thought they were winning when he took the ball out and was going slow. But then when he realized we weren't, that's when he chucked the ball.
Yeah.
He thought he was going to make something happen because, like at first I agree he might not have known we were tied, but once he threw the ball you could tell somebody said, "Hey, no, we got to score," and
Well, that's a play that's going to go down in UC history, and not for the good.
Exactly. Yeah, that is. It's not the side of the ledger you want to be on. But either way, this Wednesday they're going to be playing Tennessee. Wear black. It's going to be at Fifth Third, 7 p.m. And then from there they go to the Chicago Legends, which I believe the legend that UC picked out is Eric Hicks. So that's pretty cool.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, that'd be fun.
So that'd be cool. Yeah, I think each team gets an honorary legend at the event, so that'll be some fun.
That's sweet.
Yeah, so some good stuff. So, of course, we're going to follow up with signing day next week. We'll talk about that. We'll talk more about the bowl game. and we'll talk about all the other fun stuff happening in UC sports.
Yep.
Sounds great. So for James, Ernest, and Mark Fightmaster, signing off on UC Bearcats on the Prowl.